What about the song? Hey, peace. I thought we were just gonna play it, but hey, shout peace of paradise to all American Aborigines. The truth is in the building. Peace and love to everybody, man. Thank you everybody for coming through. Shout out to all the great ones coming in, man. Hey, be on the lookout for Cowboys and Indians. The return of Doc Holliday coming soon, man. This is the first single off of that, man. OG Eugenie. You know that I did it. So be on the lookout for this, man. It's first single, man. It's a leak right now, man. So shout out to Eugenie. Shout out to D-Town. Bonton, stand up. Let's go.
I gotta have it, so I'ma go get it. You talking about getting a bunch of money, you know that I'm with it. You know that I'm with it. You know that I'm with it. I had a couple big felonies, but I gotta quit it. And I gotta admit it. They know that I did it. You know that I did it. She know that I did it. Now she wanna lick it, sticky. I hit it and quit it. I know you didn't dig it, but that's how I did it. It's all about money, power, and respect. I got a little. I'm not the big on the little man. I'm the one in the middle. Yeah, the one in the middle. I'm that one in the middle. That nigga that never ever told. The one in the middle. That nigga that never ever sold his soul. Never fucked my niggas hoe. Never ran off on a plug. They'll say I never stole. Cashed out every load. Real niggas really hold. I got robbed by my plug and I got set up by my man. Nigga came in shooting. I ain't even understand. I ain't never took a stand. I ain't never said a word. By the duck or a bird. By the truck on a curb. I done struck every nerve. Nigga, fuck what you heard. I done sold everything. Mary Jane, cocaine. Traded dames to a lane. 20 things on the train. Way too much to explain. I got the game in my pocket. I turned my name to a profit. Bought me a chain and a locket. Peep this good game from a profit. It ain't no way you can stop it. I'm like that flame on a rocket. Put that on Jesus Christ, Buddha, Dalai Lama, and Elijah Muhammad. I am a son. I gotta have it. So I'ma go get it. You're talking about going getting a bunch of money. You know that I'm with it. Yeah, you know that I'm with it. You know that I'm with it. I had a couple big felonies, but I gotta quit it. And I gotta admit it. They know that I did it. You know that I did it. She know that I did it. Hey, now she wanna lick it, quick and sticky. I hit it and quit it. I know you can dig it, cause that's how I did it. I got a partner by the name of Gato. That nigga is solid. That nigga hopped straight up out the damn feds and went back to college. Now he got the knowledge. Now we got the knowledge. Talking big money. The women and weed is exotic. Yeah. We so more dope than the CVS. And my baby mama CTS. Got my decoy in the DTS. Getting followed by the DPS. We do not broadcast to the public, cause we do not work for no PBS. Know some bitches who be snatching kids. They do not work for the CPS. My GPS is a BCS. But on a cool, you gon' see me less. If you see me, I be with my kids and you gon' see me blessed and never see me stressed. I am the OG of rapping, been rapping since niggas had Beamers on BBS. I don't even have to rock jury, still I'ma shine like a VVS. I put the L in cheddar, I put the L in dollar, I put the L in better, look. I put the L in scholar, look. I got it grew back to Stella, look. Watch when I leave, they gon' follow, yeah. I got the hood by the collar, look. Bet when I ski, she gon' swallow. I am Kamala. I gotta have it, so I'ma go get it. You're talking about going getting a bunch of money. You know that I'm with it. Yeah, you know that I'm with it. You know that I'm with it. I had a couple big felonies, but I gotta quit it. And I gotta admit it. They know that I did it. You know that I did it. She know that I did it. Hey, now she wanna lick it, quick and sticky. I hit it and quit it. I know you can dig it, cause that's how I did it.
Peace to the tribe, man. I don't think they sent out notifications. So people gonna be coming in a little soon, man. So we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna get into this Luzia video, right? We're gonna break this thing down. We're gonna get into it a little deeper in just the video, right? We're gonna break this video down because there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of double speak, double talk that's going on in this video. But shout out to the BBC, but once again, we already know who's funding these things, and we know who funds these scientists and funds these studies and funds these universities, right? But here's the thing. There's so much overwhelming evidence that this is a Negro country, right? A Negro continent, right? So much scientific evidence to this, right? That this is Egypto-America, right? That this is Ethiopia, right? And those are Latin terms. Those terms started here. They didn't start in Africa and come here. These are Latin terms because Latin comes from America. So I just need y'all, a lot of times, even these scientists are still telling us stuff in reverse. They're telling us stuff like everybody comes here. But all the food, all the plants, everything is in America, all these structures. So we're gonna break this stuff down, man. We're gonna get into this thing. Piece of the tribe, man. So we're just gonna get into it. Yeah, man. So like I said, man, this is the first Americans. They said Africans, right? This is how they kind of say, once again, they're going with the code words and keywords and stuff like that, right? So just remember these keywords, right? Remember paleo, remember certain keywords, right? Remember Australoid, right? We're gonna break down Australia and Australoid and what does this shit mean? And why are they using these terms to confuse you, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break this shit down. So shout out to the tribe, man. The greatest of all time is in the building. So shout out to y'all, man. Peace to all the great ones tuned in, man. We definitely appreciate y'all. Hey, we got KD. I can't pronounce all that. Fury Taino Aborigine in the building. First in the building. Halito. Peace, God. Thank you for coming through. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. We got Original American in the building. Halito, thank you for coming out. We definitely appreciate you guys. What else we got going on here, right? We got Lorraine, one in the building. Osio, Halito, thank you for coming through. We definitely appreciate you. Peace all the great ones tuned in, man. Matter of fact, let's just do this, right? I ain't gonna play with y'all. Shout out, peace to the Wrench Gang, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for all the work that y'all do, man. Posting links, putting out information or whatever, man. We definitely appreciate everybody that do this work, man. And thank everybody that's gonna be tuned in for this too, right? Hey, so Todd, man, let's get right into the video, y'all. I think we're gonna play like, I'm gonna get into it, and once I get to a part, then I'll stop it and then we'll try to break it down. So let's go. Peace of God, man. Let's go, God.
You ready?
Yep.
In the heart of the Brazilian wilderness lies a prehistoric rock shelter, decorated with thousands of strange paintings. South American archaeologists are finding unusual human remains. The skulls aren't European, but they aren't American Indian either. They belong to none of the prehistoric races known to have set foot in the New World. These skulls are as old as the Ice Age. So who were these first people to discover the Americas? And what became of them? Did they all disappear? Or did some of them survive? This is Serra da Capivara, a rocky outcrop of cliffs and valleys in a remote corner of northeast Brazil.
Top baby, you got it playing double, bro. It's like that going thing.
Local farmers have long known about these rock shelters hidden behind the brush. Shelter walls are decorated with scenes from everyday life. A net to catch deer. A stick to collect honey from a beehive. A hand shielding the eyes. Here, 3 people are helping a pregnant woman give birth. Some of the paintings are harder to interpret. These curious-looking figures are thought to be men in disguise, dancing with women. Other images show human figures with decorated bodies. Some wear masks. They hint at some kind of ritual. No one yet has figured out what these scenes mean. But local farmers claim to know who originally painted them.
Our elders used to tell us they'd been made by Indians, known locally as the Fierce Ones.
Indians were the obvious candidates. Most of the people who live in northeastern Brazil today are descended from European settlers and African slaves. But these ancestral groups arrived in Brazil just 500 years ago. When the Portuguese first discovered Brazil, they found that Indians were already here. And a few of the local villagers are descendants of mixed marriages between Indians, farmers, and slaves. Indians, in fact, had been in America for thousands of years. Scientists today can tell precisely when they arrived and from where. All native peoples in South and North America belong to a racial type known as Mongoloid. They're descended from the ancient peoples of Siberia. During the Ice Age, 12,000 years ago, there was a land bridge between Siberia and Alaska. Mongoloid peoples were the first to enter the New World, or so experts thought. The Brazilian finds point to a very different story of the discovery of the Americas. Paintings on these rock shelters are much older than the Indians. Here, hunters chased giant armadillos, an animal that flourished during the Ice Age long before the arrival of the Indians. There's a playful feel to many of the scenes. Here, a group of men are standing on each other's shoulders, just like a circus act. And here, a rare romantic moment. The scenes conjure up a lost world of innocence. How long ago was this primeval paradise? French archaeologists have just finished digging in Pedra Furada, the largest of the rock shelters. Their aim was to go back in time to a period well before the arrival of American Indians. Every foot they dug took them thousands of years back into prehistory. When they reached layers 40,000 years old, they found these. Pieces of quartzite that look remarkably like stone tools. The edges on one side of the stones were flaked off. Were these stones shaped into cutting tools by human hands? If so, then the history of the discovery of the Americas would have to be rewritten. But if people had been here before the American Indians, surely there would be other traces of their presence. The archaeologists continued to dig, down to depths 50,000 years old. And then they found this. Fragments of animal bone and charcoal. For Anne-Marie Passy, one of the archaeologists involved in the dig, these fragments were proof of human occupation.
On trouvait des structures de feu.
We found structures shaped like hearths.
Alors, à côté du charbon,
next to the charcoal, depending on the period, we sometimes found food leftovers of animals they may have eaten.
D'animaux qui ont peut-être consommé.
The Brazilian finds show that the New World was discovered tens of thousands of years earlier than previously believed, certainly well before the time of the American Indians. But who were these pioneers? A much earlier wave of Mongoloids, or another race altogether? Clues to the identity of the first Americans are emerging in rock shelters in the northeast and southeast of Brazil. Archaeologists there have recently unearthed human remains. Prehistoric skulls were found buried in layers of soil 9,000 to 12,000 years old. They are the oldest skulls in the Americas. And this is the oldest of them all. The skull of a young woman nicknamed Luzia by scientists. Can she tell us who the first Americans were? Walter Neves is a physical anthropologist at Sao Paulo University in Brazil. He has been using a standard and reliable archaeological measure the shape of the skull to find out what race she belonged to.
91.
He fully expected Luzia to be a Mongoloid, an ancestor of the American Indians.
91.
But then he fed the measurements into the computer.
When we start running the computer and seeing the results, it was amazing because we realized that the statistics, the quantitative analysis we were doing was not showing just people to be Mongoloid. In fact, the analysis was showing just people was anything except Mongoloid.
So who was Luzia? And where did she come from?
Got to the oldest skull of all, right? Now, when this was made,
To find out, the skull was taken to a hospital in Rio de Janeiro to begin the process of reconstructing her face.
Yeah, stop it. They just found Naia.
The first stage was to...
Luzia, they just found her. Well, they got to the... Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this, right? First and foremost, off the top, right? They playing games, right? They playing games off the top, right? Because the first thing he was like, they start classifying people, right? You got Indians, and you got Europeans, and you got African slaves, right? Check. But it's convenient how when they say it the second time, they only say slaves, right? They'll be like, oh, these are the mixture slaves, right? So everybody was enslaved. Europeans are enslaved. Check this out. The Indians were enslaved, right? The Negroes were enslaved. And obviously, you guys believe that Africans were enslaved, right? So point being is, right, they're massaging your fucking brain, right? They're literally massaging your brain like, here's the mixture, right? Now, they're even saying Mongoloids, right? Now, not one motherfucking time did they say mestizos. Now, I'm thinking that's interesting that they don't say mestizos now. Now, if y'all been hanging around and y'all been around for a while, y'all know what a mestizo is. A mestizo would be a mixture of, check, indigenous people who are copper-colored people of this land, and the European people who would make what you would call a mestizo, and that's what they would call these people right here with the fake-ass Bering Strait crossing story, right? See how this work? Okay. Even 13,000 years ago, mestizos didn't exist to walk, sail, fly, catch a train, ride a goat, whatever the fuck. They didn't exist to walk, to do anything, right? So these people didn't exist on this planet. So I'm just gonna, period. So it's just a lie, just in general. But because they're scientists, because it's the BBC, we have to believe what the fuck they say. No, the fuck we don't. That's the fucking problem. Y'all always believe in shit from these dumbass people who are double talking while they doing it. Like, this shit is crazy. I'm like, yo, did you hear this shit? Ain't no such thing as Mongoloid, okay? It's a term they don't even use. Mongoloids didn't exist then, not now, no other time or whatever. So it's a misnomer. Once again, they're using keywords to put you in a mind frame. Now, if you're looking for Afrocentrism, that's what you're gonna get out of that, because that's what it's designed for you to stay in your place. Okay? Do you understand? Not to claim your land or whatever, because you're a slave from Africa, or just slave. When they say slave, this means you. This means us from Africa, right? That's what that means. And that's just dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So I had to say that, man. Like, I'm watching this shit like, yo, this shit is crazy. They always try to put their spin on stuff, and that's a problem. Now, we just got to finding Luzia, right? Now, that's not the only skull that they have. Now, they don't have shards, Lex. Like the thing that Lex was talking about last night in Morocco, they found some shards, right? Shards. Not a full skeleton, right? Shards. And from that, right, they had dated it to about 40,000 years ago, right? Later on, they came back and said, no, it's 300,000. Yes, let's add 300,000 years onto that. Check. This is what they're saying, right? Now, I've never seen a reconstructed person because you don't have anybody to reconstruct with shards. See how this works? So those shards could be from a cat, dog, monkey, reindeer, whatever, right? The person could have came there because it ain't like they got millions of shards representing millions of people, right? Like I asked next, like, how many people did that shard represent, right? 10, 20, 100, million? Right. So why does that make that like that's where man comes from, because you found a shard that they are playing with the dates. Hold on a second. Yeah. So I think we're gonna get back into this video though, Ty. I mean, it's just self-explanatory, y'all. Like, this shit is weird. Like, they're playing games. So just know that the BBC and the producers of this video, the scientists, are all involved in the sham. Okay. So even when they're trying to tell you the truth, they're gonna put the spin on it. So yeah, let's get back to this video, Ty. It's getting good. Slave.
Make a three-dimensional CAT scan of Luzia's skull in order to build a replica. The cast was then given to Richard Neve of the University of Manchester in England, one of the world's leading forensic artists, to recreate her features.
That, to me, is a Negroid face that has all the features that you associate with a Negroid face. The proportions of the face, it doesn't say anything about it being Mongoloid.
Luzia belongs to a race found historically along the rim of the Indian Ocean, in East Africa, in the islands of South Asia, and in Australia and Melanesia. Was this then the face of a first American? Her reconstruction is confirmed by measurements Walter Nevis has taken of all his skulls.
The first reaction was not to believe in it. But as the results, repeated so many times, and the result is exactly the same thing. They are very similar to nowadays Aborigines and Africans, and no similarity at all with Mongoloids in Asia or with American Indians.
But how could Luzia be African and Australian? According to Walter Nevis, there's a very simple explanation. Luzia is a bit of both. The first humans originated in Africa. It's known that around 100,000 years ago, waves of people migrated out of Africa. One such wave went east, and 60,000 years ago, it reached Australia. Luzia, it seems, belonged to a race of humans descended from Africans, a race that eventually became today's Australian Aborigines. But if the first people to enter the New World were the ancestors of present-day Aborigines, how could they possibly have reached the Americas? Australia and Southeast Asia are on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, more than 8,000 miles away from South America. It's true that during the Ice Age, there was a land bridge between Siberia and Alaska. In theory, the ancestors of the Aborigines could have migrated north and crossed over into Alaska. But they wouldn't have made it very far. A permanent mass of ice sat on Canada for thousands of years. That wall of ice
Testing, testing. I had to chime in because they just debunked the Bering Strait crossing theory, and they just honored it all in the same video. They said it was a mile long or something. Chief, I don't know, how does that work? How can they come across the Bering Strait um, crossing? And it earlier they said it happened, and that's how they got here. Now they saying they couldn't even get across. So they themselves now understand, you're not dealing with popular science. You're dealing with media. This is what they're selling to our children. So it's more important than what the science said. So you see what I'm saying? Because this is what our children be watching, and this is what the people gonna be watching. Ain't nobody gonna be paying no $69.95 for no scientific journals and no shit like that. Ain't nobody do that shit. Motherfuckers get their knowledge from TV. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they push it, bro. They just honored it and debunked it at the same time, y'all. Y'all have to understand this, bro. I'm sorry to fuck up your show, Chief. I could not let this go. So
No, do your thing, man. That's you absolutely right. Damn, it's not park here? It's that bullshit. You absolutely right, bro. Like, they don't, what?
they just said it was impossible.
They've been debunking themselves and double talking the whole goddamn video, bro. Like, this is what they do. They're serious about the deception. Seriously, like, everybody else is playing, they ain't playing. We the only motherfuckers playing.
Yeah,
These people are not playing.
they're not playing, y'all.
We the only people playing. They spend, what you say, billions of dollars to fool you. Literally, they literally fooling people. Like, this shit crazy to me, fam. Like, when I see this shit, I'm like, really, they just gonna say that the ice wall. But guess what? That's the whole Beringer Strait theory.
And they just debunked it themselves, bro.
It never happened because the fucking wall, according to the motherfuckers that talk about it, was there. Y'all see how this work? Like, yo, yo, this is crazy. I can't believe they just goddamn dumb, yo. I can't believe it, y'all.
I can't rewind it, but I would love to rewind that part, bro.
Goddamn dumb, y'all.
Unless y'all want to see that part again, I could figure out a way how we could play that part again. But let's go ahead. Go ahead, Chief. Give me a second.
Yeah, I,
Hold on.
it's just ludicrous at this point right now, right? Like, okay, so the Beringer Strait crossing debunks itself, right? It tells you that it's a 2-mile ice wall, which I don't know how they know that, but so it said it was impossible for something to cross there, right? Okay, y'all. I mean, is this real? Seriously? Like they put the information out and they'll say something, then they'll say slave. So so if you, as a person of color, come back and teach the same exact thing that they're teaching, you're doing a disservice to your people. Do you understand? Period. I don't care what you think. I don't care how many degrees you have, how smart you think you are. You are a goddamn smart dummy. Seriously, like you're a smart dummy. If you don't understand what's going on, you don't understand that these people are manipulating history. They're manipulating facts and your mind, and we're still sitting around here acting like they're not doing it. Like I think that's weird. Like you really think they're not doing this? You don't think that they'll write shit in books to make you subservient to them? Really? Yo, I think it's crazy. Seriously, y'all. I don't even know how we, bro. I don't even know how this worked like that, bro. Even check this out, right? We're gonna debunk the out of Africa hypothesis too tonight, right? But the whole out of Africa, the whole thing, the theory of evolution, right? Will say some shit like when you challenge them on the shit, they say, well, we said we may have common ancestors with a monkey. Or then if we say monkey, they be like, no, it's an ape. Man,
Where the ape come from?
Do you know the difference between an ape and a monkey?
Not biologically or nothing, but I do know the monkey come first. So you can't have an ape without a monkey, right? Or they got a whole different other family or some shit. I don't know like the 100% breakdown, but I mean, did they come from the same family or which one come first? Right? Didn't the monkey come first and turn into an ape?
I don't know about that.
I don't think they either. I don't think they know it.
I don't know. I don't even know the difference between a monkey and a gorilla. Like, I mean, a monkey and an ape.
Monkeys got tails and shit.
That's more double talking.
Yeah, monkeys supposed to have tails.
Tails?
Yeah.
That's it? That's all?
That's all I know. Like, as far as me, you know what I'm saying? All I know, monkeys supposed to have tails, so they supposed to be different. And then apes don't have tails. And so, but which one came first? I have yet to have anybody answer that question. But so I just filled in the blanks because with my little logic. But anybody want to do the research, definitely do the research.
I mean, I don't even know if they're the same thing. If like, would one come from the other? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. That has nothing to do with it.
Hey, Chief, somebody said they can barely hear you.
Mic check.
Oh, hold on one second. Let me go ahead and play this back real quick, you guys. They're themselves finna, because in the beginning of the movie, they said them people came across the Bering Strait. They said it in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me find that part first. How about we do both? Just to be fair, just to make sure there's no doubt about there. So, they said they came from slaves or something. Hold on one second. You're gonna see it. They're gonna honor it, and then they're gonna debunk it, all in the same video. So here we go. Hold on, I'm waiting for it to come through. They found Indians was already here. Okay, here we go. It's coming in low, you guys, so y'all gotta excuse me. But here they finna honor it right here.
Indians, in fact, had been in America for thousands of years. Scientists today can tell precisely when they arrived and from where. All native peoples in South and North America belong to a racial type known as Mongoloid. They're descended from the ancient peoples of Siberia. During the Ice Age, 12,000 years ago, there was a land bridge between Siberia and Alaska. Mongoloid peoples were the first to enter the New World, or so experts thought. Would have blocked the way into America to both animals and humans.
Okay, testing, Chief, you back? Okay, testing, Chief, you back? Now, as you can see, they told the story of where them people came from. They said they crossed that land bridge. They just said that. Everybody just seen that, right? They just said that. And at the end, they said, so we thought. But now they're finna debunk the whole theory at the same time to show you that no, ain't nobody crossed it. But most people are so dumb and so stupid they don't even catch up on it. That's what I gotta say. You gotta step up on your magic trick. But now they're finna debunk that whole theory in itself. Check it out.
In the islands of South Asia, and in Australia and Melanesia. But if the first people to enter the New World were the ancestors of present-day Aborigines, how could they possibly have reached the Americas? Australia and Southeast Asia are on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, more than 8,000 miles away from South America. It's true that during the Ice Age, there was a land bridge between Siberia and Alaska. In theory, the ancestors of the Aborigines could have migrated north and crossed over into Alaska. But they wouldn't have made it very far. A permanent mass of ice sat on Canada for thousands of years. But could there have been another route to South America?
Now, hold on, let me make sure you guys can see that. Now, as you guys clearly saw, that they honored it and they debunked it all in the same video. Now, this is not nothing Ty Data said. This is not nothing Chief Holiday said. They said that. They did that. They said no. They couldn't even cross that bridge. They admitted they couldn't even cross that bridge. So yeah, so I guess maybe we some conspiracy theorists, maybe we some weirdos, but I know, I know bullshit. I mean, the 17-year-old boy can smith bullshit. I mean, my son can see that shit like.
Listen. You gotta be a dummy if you listen to these people. Like, fuck all that. You're not stupid. I mean, you're not ignorant. You're a dummy. Like, because here's the thing. They're telling you and they're saying
Chief, you
right
low,
in your
bro.
fucking face.
Hey,
That
Chief, you
it
low.
don't even make fucking sense, bro. Like, it makes me sick because I'm sitting there looking at people believing these dumb motherfuckers. I'm like, how do you believe this dumb ass shit? Like, I don't have no mercy for y'all. I don't. I don't have no mercy for y'all. Because I ask these niggas all the time, how are you African? How are we African descent? What does African and African descent mean? Right? Does that mean that French people are African descent? Or British people are African descent, nigga?
Chinese people, the whole world.
Okay, so why y'all saying that just only the black people that y'all find in America are African descent? or the Sentinel Islands, or anywhere else. Nah, y'all not about to do that. You're not about to do that. We're not about to play this game with you motherfuckers. Y'all are pseudoscientists. You're racist. You're sexist. If it is could be, y'all are it. Y'all suck. And we should sue you for putting out false scamming.
Hold on, Chief. Oh yeah, hold on. They can barely hear you. Something.
You having the nerve to say that information that we putting out is scamming, motherfucker. They spend millions of dollars to put that documentary out.
What the fuck's going on?
Millions of dollars to reconstruct that face that y'all about to see. The fuck are y'all talking about? For them to double talk you, to talk you into a coma, and you go and I'm scamming you? Telling you the truth? Nah, that motherfucker that's telling anybody that's speaking against us is the police.
That's some cold shit, Chief. That's some cold shit, bro. That's some cold shit.
If you don't have no information to debunk anything we talking about, nigga, you the police. Like, you just an agent of confusion. I don't care what your mama say, what you say, nigga, you an agent of confusion. That's how I just go.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
For you to see these scrolls, thousands of scrolls here, and say, oh, there's some shards over there. What? Nigga, you're an agent of confusion. Period. I'm not even gonna play with y'all, man. That don't make no sense. It's dumb as hell.
Hold on, let me see if they can hear you, bro. I think they can barely hear you.
I'll pull it up.
Go ahead.
I mean, bro, that's crazy to me. I don't understand how somebody can see the DNA hoax video 60 minutes, right?
Yeah.
60 minutes ain't got sued or nothing, right?
You good.
60 minutes ain't got sued or nothing, right? Them motherfuckers put that video out and niggas is still talking about DNA. Y'all just gonna walk past that video, right? We're gonna play that motherfucker today too, so y'all won't have no problems. Nothing that this happened, maybe this happened. No. Nigga, DNA is fake. Or how about this? Genealogical DNA is fake. Okay? There's no way that you can go find your ancestors in the spit, in the tube. Like, it's not gonna happen. Sorry. More eugenic propaganda, and you niggas is falling for it, and you pay for the test. And niggas be talking about, I'll pay for your test if you gonna take the test. What? Y'all assume too much, man. But yeah, Todd, man, so we're gonna get back into it. Like, it's slight way retardation, man. That's why the short bus is at the bottom of the corner right there. If you against this, you on the short bus. That's all I gotta say.
Here we go.
Il faut considérer toutes les probabilités.
One has to consider all the probabilities.
Traverser
It's much simpler to cross the ocean than to adapt to the cold of the North Pole. After all, you do need to develop a fairly sophisticated technology to survive in the cold.
But did the ancestors of the Aborigines have the technology to cross the Pacific? These are the Tiwi people, an Aborigine clan living on Bathurst Island, just off the northern coast of Australia. As far back as they can remember, their way of life has always revolved around the sea. And in these shallow tropical waters, the old-fashioned spear is still the best tool to catch crabs. But the Tiwis are very much the exception. Most Aborigines live on the mainland and have no seafaring heritage. what about the Aborigines' very earliest ancestors? Might they have been able to navigate? Curiously, the best clues to the culture of the first Australians are to be found far away from the coasts. This is the Kimberley, a forbidding rock.
Hold on, what the fuck was that sound? Man, shit's getting weird. Hold on, you guys. Let me. What the fuck is that? Let me see. This again, y'all.
Desert on the northern tip of Western Australia. Today, the place is uninhabited. But during the Ice Age, 20 to 50,000 years ago, these were hunting grounds for the first Aborigines. Walsh, an Australian rock art specialist, has devoted his life to finding and recording their earliest traditions. The area is surrounded by rock shelters, many of them decorated with images painted tens of thousands of years ago. In one rock shelter, Graham Walsh has discovered a painting that is about to rewrite the history of seafaring. It's the oldest painting of a boat anywhere in the world.
The people in the boat have got very distinctive headdresses on. And they're associated with a type of figures that we call simple northern figures that are found in this area of the North Kimberley here. They're associated with war scenes, battle scenes where they're not using spear throwers, and so we can date that type of figure by the type of technology that they're depicted with. And it's very ancient because the spear throwers, we've dated paintings with spear throwers on as predating 17,000 years. And that's a minimum figure. I think it will go back much, much older than that, up to 50,000 years ago.
What's remarkable is that the boat seems to have been designed with a very specific purpose in mind.
You can see by the type of watercraft with the high prow on it, it appears by watercraft experts, they tell me it's an ocean-going type craft with this high nose. There's no need for all the sort of high prows and that in still water. So you're looking at some sort of craft that's been used for the open sea.
In this remote rock shelter,
Chief, you here? So now that they telling you that our big ass aircraft carriers had trouble crossing the ocean and shit, right? We got big ass barges and shit that had trouble crossing the ocean, and they finna tell you that these people made a canoe, nigga, that crossed. He got a nice accent. He got a fancy hat on. Chief, where you at? Wow, that's pretty fancy, bro. That's pretty fancy. Chief Holiday. Maybe it's a little bit of delay. So these motherfuckers made a canoe. Nonetheless, you buying that, bro? You buying that? I don't know. Maybe they did, bro. Maybe they did. It is a possibility, so we can't eliminate it. But the shit is just sound kind of weird. That canoe. He said a fucking canoe. Yeah, they made a canoe specifically. It was like specially designed. You know, it had a sea bearing stern on it. These motherfuckers paddled. These some tough people, y'all.
Is the first indication that the ancestors of the Aborigines did indeed have the technology to sail, and perhaps even to navigate the oceans. But why would they have wanted to cross the Pacific? The vastness of the ocean was surely a deterrent. More and more, scientists are convinced that the very first ocean crossings may have happened by accident. It's not such a far-fetched idea.
Il y a 3 ans,
3 years ago, 5 fishermen, well, only 2 made it out of the original 5, set off in the middle of a storm off Africa. They arrived here in Brazil. They decided to stay. They didn't want to return to Africa. Sure, it was an adventure, an odyssey, but they made it in just 3 weeks. They survived. And if they survived, others could have done so too.
If the ancestors of the Aborigines did reach South America by chance, they would have been the first people to settle the New World. They would have become the American Aborigines. But if this is what happened, where are their descendants? Why are there none of these American Aborigines in North and South America today? One possibility is that for a long time they lived alone in the continent, leading an idyllic life, free from invaders. After all, the land route from Asia into North America remained firmly blocked for thousands of years. But around 14,000 years ago, the climate began to warm.
Yeah. Testing. Chief Holiday, can you hear me? Chief, where you at, bro? Chief, where you at? Yeah, they did say possibilities. So when you're dealing with science, like I said, you're dealing with a lot of possibilities. So is that a possibility that they could have, sailed the boat? Yeah, that's a possibility. But if you're going to make laws and you're going to give these people recognition of being the first American on a possibility of crossing the boat of a possibility, that's kind of messed up. But this is what they're saying. So you can't rule out the possibility. It is a possibility. It could have happened. Aliens could have came here too. It could have happened. So that's how science works. But they did say if they crossed. He never said they did. So I got to give him that. They never said they did cross. He said if they did. I got to give him that. He said if they did. But I know I know, but he said it correctly though. He said if they did. So he's putting the emphasis on a possibility and a probability. And I cannot go against, you know what I'm saying? I have to honor that. Now, if he would have said they did, then it would have been a different story. Because he we're dealing with possibilities and probabilities, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? But you're not, but if you wanna, I don't know. I guess if you want to base a law and recognize certain, but yeah, and also the lady said, yeah, across the Bering Strait, you're gonna need some type of high tech technology and shit. That was early, but I, they was truthful there. I didn't see nothing wrong with anybody. I can't rule it out. You can't rule it out because it is a possibility. So you have to respect that. But is it kind of a little extreme though? Is it kind of a little weird? Yes, but possibility, possibility, possibility. So what about the Anunnaki coming down and giving us some fucking some of their fruit and shit on Black Panther? That's a possibility too. It's dumb as hell. Hey Chief, your mic coming in low as hell. I don't know if it's something over here or if it's your phone.
Man, when I go back and listen to this, I'll be sounding good.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, nah, man, that shit weird. I mean, yo, just the whole field, academia is dumb, right? They're never. I mean, they're never going to tell you the truth. I don't understand why people think they would. Like, this is crazy. I know it's young men and women in school right now arguing with their professors about dumb shit that they're being taught. Like, because people have too much information right now. Like, the internet is their worst enemy. Because you could tell a child something, right? Like, oh, Amerigo Vespucci discovered America. I mean, named America, right? Well, America was named after Vespucci, right? A child could find out and then go to the teacher, and now what the teacher gonna do? You've already taught that it was named after Amerigo Vespucci, right? See what I'm saying? So I think what we have now is just people that just don't want to get out of their old ways of thinking. Their egos and whatever they're getting from academia, right? The validation of whatever that they're getting from them makes them, look down. You know what I'm saying? They looking down on everybody else, man. And I think that's weird, for real, to be honest with you. Because once again, the information is not empowering us. So my thing is, if we're dropping from the people, why are you upset? Why would you continue to keep teaching the same thing that these dumbass people right here is talking about? I don't even know if we got to Walter Neves yet. That part of the thing when they got to measuring the skull and shit. Have we got to that part yet? Yo, Ty. Ty Data. Ty Data. Ty Data. Yo. Yo, Ty. Bro, I can't hear you. Yo, Ty. All right. Well, I'm just like, I don't know if why are we even talking about this? Like, it's so dumb that it didn't make no sense. It's like you're not critically thinking. You're only gonna accept the position that they're going to give you from their perspective. I don't understand how would that benefit you? You understand what I'm saying? That's what's weird to me. How people could. Now that's yeah, we hear you now. I, yeah. Get back to the video. Let me get back to it.
Up. The Ice Age was coming to a dramatic end. In Alaska, an ice corridor opened up. Animals took advantage and crossed through. Chasing them were Mongoloid hunters. It's well known that around 12,000 years ago, the ancestors of today's American Indians entered the New World. The Mongoloids moved swiftly, colonizing North and South America in just a few thousand years. That's precisely the time frame when scientists believe the American Aborigines begin to disappear. Could the Mongoloids have replaced the Aborigines?
This is very clear in South America. All populations I have in my data set from the whole South America, okay, from 7,000 to the present, they are absolutely classic Mongoloid. And everything I have with more than 9,000, okay, is absolutely non-Mongoloid. So I would say this replacement occurred between 9 and 7,000 years ago.
Rock art experts have been studying the Brazilian paintings for clues about how that replacement might have happened. Here may be an explanation for how the American Aborigines became extinct. This scene shows several men in midair. They look as if they're flying. At first, scientists assumed they reflected the playful lifestyle of the American Aborigines. But computers can shed new light. Images can be digitally removed and then reintroduced one at a time.
Testing. So I guess the Mongoloids just eliminated the whole population, bro. We still here. Chief, where you at? Chief.
Yo, bro, I'm telling you, man.
We still here, bro. We still here, y'all. We ain't get eliminated. We still here.
I mean, man, this shit is comedy. It really is. Like the opposition to this right here, bro, is I don't know what to tell you, right? Craniology, right? According to the scientists that y'all believe in, is the most reliable way to identify somebody, right? Okay? And what we're having is identity crisis as a people, right? People from the continent don't consider themselves African, okay? That will be a colonized mindset, right? Why would you name yourself after something that somebody brought to your people, oppressed your people, murdered, raped your people? Like, why would that make any sense to anybody that would call themselves African, right? Why would that even make sense, right? Hey, well, what do you guys call yourself American? Stay in your lane, slow your little roll. That's what you need to do, right? Because it's always interesting to me, right? I always be like, well, listen, if Africa, right, A, B, C, D, right? You have an A in Africa, right? It doesn't come, it's not indigenous to the continent of so-called Africa, right? Check. So here's the thing. Neither is the A in Akan or Shanti. Y'all see how this works? Where did these tribes get these A's from? Did they get it from the Muslim, the Islamic, the Mohammedans, right? Coming in, giving them Islamic. Where does this come from? Y'all ask any questions? Well, I'm a Khan, I'm a Shanti. Well, where does that come from? Where does that language come from that you're calling yourself, right? So while y'all way over here worried about what we got going on, y'all need to worry about what's going on in Africa and get out our business, right? Y'all doing too much. Y'all worrying too much what we got going on in America, and y'all should be worried about what y'all got going on over there. And they say it all the time. Emperor said all the time, when y'all going home? Like, and every time we ask the super pro-black Pan-Africans, well, why y'all ain't going to Africa? They like, well, all my people here. That's a crazy answer to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just too much dumb shit be going on, right? Hey, Ty, what part are we on in the documentary? Well, I don't know where we're at in the documentary right now, but I can't wait if it's not already got to the part where dude was telling them that everything just kept coming back, everything but mongoloids. See, when they're saying mongoloid, that's attaching them to the Ice Age and a Behringer straight cross. And remember, that's been debunked, right? But he's still saying it. He's not going to say these people are mestizos, right? Because then that would mean they're mixed from the original people. See how that works? So they're going to keep the sham. They're going to keep pushing this fraud to the people, y'all. That's what it is. I got to call it what it is, right? I got to call it what it is. It's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraudulent. Period.com, right? And y'all just want to know if anybody checked out Kalinago at the powwow today, at the Native American powwow. What y'all thought about that? We're going to talk about that a little later on, too. We're going to have to definitely chop it up with Chief Kalinago, man, see what he got going on. What's the biz? Like I said, craniology, right? They're going to show them measuring the skull, right?
Hey, Chief. Chief, bro, you coming in super low, bro, like very low. Yeah, we're going to have to either play the video and then we can just, stop it and come back. But you coming in very low.
How that sound? Mic check, mic
I don't know. I think it might be something over here.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2,
Yeah,
1, 2.
I think it might be something over here, bro. Something's over here is not it's not coming in. So it might not even be you. But if you want to, we can just go ahead and let it rat out and then just stop it and come back. But it's coming in real low. It's bad. All right. So what you want to do? Keep it going, or you just want to stop it right now?
Let's get back to the video.
Okay.
The happy flying figures turn out to be just one figure, a warrior leaping through the air to spear an enemy.
A interpretação original dessa cena era uma cena de harmonia.
At first, we thought this was a scene of harmony, with various figures flying through the air. Now we no longer see it as a scene of harmony, but as a scene of violence.
Suddenly, the meaning of the other enigmatic scenes becomes clear. This is another act of aggression. And this, perhaps, an execution. Were the Mongoloids at war with the Aborigines? Tellingly, these scenes only begin to appear after the arrival of the Mongoloids.
Jusqu'à 9000 ans, on n'en trouve pas une.
Until 9,000 years ago, we don't find a single scene of violence, and this coincides with finds which show an increase in population.
Ça coïncide. On peut pas tirer des conclusions.
We can't draw any conclusions, but there is an increase in small tribes, and violence becomes very important.
La violence commence à devenir très important.
Conquest by the Mongoloids would explain why there are no Aborigines in the Americas today. They were wiped out.
Testing. Notice they didn't provide any Mongoloid scoids during this time. I'm not saying they don't have any, but on this particular video, they didn't provide any Mongoloid skulls during this time, because supposedly they, it was a possibility, a probability that they beat and they wiped these people out, and they even showed an animation of them executing the Aboriginal people, and but the Aboriginal people's skulls are all fucking around the place, but their skulls are nowhere to be found. So how is it that this dominant species race is eradicated and you can't really find none of their skulls, but yet you're gonna stumble upon the weaker species skull, and a so-called, or the lesser people, or you're gonna stumble upon their skull? So they are getting a little more scientific, and they're using a lot of words like possible and probability, but along with the visuals, it becomes a magic trick, because they're saying it's possible that they could have did this, and then they show you a fucking man getting his shit beat in. You see what I'm saying? So it goes along. So when it comes to the scientific part of it, they are being somewhat a little bit, on a probability possibility side. I noticed a lot of that a little less double speak doing this stuff, and a lot more possibility. But when you put the visuals together with it, okay, it brings their possibilities to life as if their possibilities are real. Now, I know we all adults and we can bypass that, but when you're dealing with children and you're dealing with some people, they would not be able to distinguish the both. Because if I say, oh, there's a possibility that something to happen, and then I have a fucking reacting of it happen, you're going to be like, shit, damn, bro, that shit happened. If you got to understand how the media works. Now, even though in the scientific world, they might, they might have a little different tone, and they might talk about possibility and probabilities, but in the media, which is more powerful and more glorified, I think, it should be held even more responsibility because, you know, we fucking sit our children in front of the TV for hours and hours at a time. And this is the shit that they're feeding them. So where are the Mongoloid skulls during this time while they're possibly beating up these fucking people and shit? I got time.
But persecuted peoples often avoid extinction, either through intermarriage with the invader or by escaping into the wilderness. Could some American Aborigines have survived in a remote corner of the New World? At the southernmost end of the continent lies Tierra del Fuego, a group of islands isolated from the mainland by the Strait of Magellan. The oldest skull found in this part of the world is 9,000 years old. It too was measured by Walter Nevis.
This skull also shows a strong similarity with Australians and no similarity at all with nowadays Indians or Mongoloids. Okay, so even in the extreme southern cone of the Americas, okay, was inhabited by these people that has nothing to do with Mongoloids.
It seems that some tribes of American Aborigines may have escaped, finding sanctuary here at the far end of South America. So what became of them? Where are their descendants? When the first Europeans explored Tierra del Fuego, they encountered bands of hunters and gatherers, the Fuegians. An Italian ethnographer recorded their way of life in the 1930s. It seemed to hark back to a primordial era. Sisters Cristina and Ursula Calderon are children of those hunters and gatherers. They were born just over 70 years ago in this small village, now abandoned. Could these sisters be actual descendants of Luzia and the American Aborigines? On the face of it, no. Their appearance is not very different from that of other Native Americans. But a more reliable marker of ancestry lies behind the face, the shape of the skull. The local museum houses several skulls of modern Fuegians, recent ancestors of Cristina and Ursula. For the first time, scientists have begun to measure these skulls. As expected, they have found some classic Mongoloid traits, such as flat faces. But they also found unusual features, pronounced ridges over the eyes, a distinctly non-Mongoloid characteristic. Apparently, Fuegians were somehow related to the ancestors of the Australian Aborigines.
We think that Fuegians is the nowadays Fuegians or the historic Fuegians are the result of interbreeding between the non-Mongoloids and the Mongoloids.
It seems that some American Aborigines may have avoided extinction by intermarrying with the Mongoloids 7,000 to 9,000 years ago, and then retreating to Tierra del Fuego, where they lived in isolation until the 20th century. But the Aborigines were originally a race adapted to life in the tropics.
Now, as you see, they're talking possibility and probability. So, in this sense, I cannot say, you know what I'm saying, you got to be careful what you say. But this is what the thing is, that if these people mix with Australian, then why come Asian? Why they come there coming back so much Asian? They register more Asian, and they have even a Asian. Why is they coming? Why is they coming back Asian? So are they going to explain how the Asian get in there also, or are they going to make sure that their narrative is set? Because everybody knew their narrative. They finna morph these people into these people. But that still doesn't explain where they get the Asian descent from. So even if this is true, even though they never said it was true, they said it was a possibility. Where does the Asian come in at? Let's watch the rest of the video and see if we can figure out see if they're gonna let us know where the Asian come in at. Because remember, they're 9, 12, 15, 20, 40% Asian in a so-called DNA test. But let's see if they're gonna say that.
How could they have survived in this cold and damp corner of South America? Argentine archaeologists have pitched their tents on the shores of lakes and inlets in search of clues. On this beach, they found mounds of mussel shells.
Secuencia de valvas que si la miras se está clavando dentro o por debajo.
The oldest layer is 6,000 to 7,000 years old. Is this ancient garbage left behind by American Aborigines? Mounds of shells have been found all over the beach. The mounds are overgrown with grass, but they have a distinctive shape. Each one is built up around a hollow. According to Ernesto Piana, the excavation leader, they're evidence that this sheltered beach was the site of a very ancient settlement.
This kind of round structures, you may see many in this archaeological site in Miwaya, are actually the base of their huts. This was done because people just put some poles around, making a dome, or some like a cone, and living, throwing the debris, the refuse outside of these round things.
Alongside the very same beaches, similar huts were being built by the Fuegians until just 60 years ago. These huts sheltered the American Aborigines through thousands of winters of wind, rain, and snow. Some tribes wore hides of guanaco, a type of llama, to keep the cold out. But others wandered around virtually naked. How did they cope with the cold? Tierra del Fuego was surrounded by colonies of seals. Seal oil rubbed on the skin offered protection against the cold and damp. It was also especially high in calories. A spoonful a day provided extra resistance to the cold.
We were given spoonfuls of seal oil. That's how I grew up healthy. And I guess that's why I'm still here today. They said it was very good for the kids, but only in winter, not in summer. Because in summer your face comes out in a rash of spots.
Okay? Now, this is where they come in and get a little deceitful. Now, they're talking about a certain area. Everywhere in the Americas don't got seals growing everywhere. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to paint a narrative, and they trying to make you think this is how all the Americas was. Now, keep in mind the Americas is very big and very vast. So if these people had seals, then what about the other people? What did they have? Cause last I checked, seals don't grow in fucking maybe I don't know. Do y'all got seals down there in like Louisiana or some shit, or all over there on the East Coast somewhere? Like I don't know. But they're painting a picture, and they're making these people seem like this is how all the Native Americans survived through seal blubber. And they really, and they never said that. So let's keep that in mind. They never said they all did. But watching the video and watching the movie, you would assume that, okay, this is how these people got here. And this is how they survived the winter. But a lot of people don't think, hey, what about the people up there in Canada? What about the people? But that's not saying they can't survive the winter. But let's just keep that in context.
The Fuegians also kept fires lit indefinitely, even when they were on the move.
They lit their fires in the canoe. And I'd ask, how come the boat doesn't burn? No, the fires were lit on a layer of damp grass. So long as the fire is small, the canoe doesn't catch fire.
Isolated from the rest of the continent, the descendants of the American Aborigines preserved their way of life for thousands of years. But there's something else. They appear to have also kept alive their rituals. The 1930s expeditions recorded secret initiation ceremonies. Before boys could be led into the secrets of the tribe, they had to face up to spooks and spirits. According to the ethnographic reports, boys and women believed the ghosts were real. Could such rituals help decipher the enigmatic scenes on the Brazilian rock shelters? The dancing spooks, with their masks and stripes, are strangely familiar. Tribal wisdom taught to the Fuegian initiates was secret. It was only revealed to men. Women were kept in the dark. Any speculation about it was, and still is, strictly taboo.
They said it was a very secret ritual. That's why we never talked about it. Only the men were supposed to know about it.
What was so secret that it had to be kept from the women? Some of the chiefs, according to ethnographers, explain that there was a time in a very distant past when women ruled society. So the women must never know, lest the men lose their grip on power. Perhaps this story was brought into the New World by the American Aborigines, because similar legends have been recorded amongst Aborigine tribes in Australia. Amazingly, traditions of the first peoples of Australia appear to have been preserved here at the utmost end of the earth by a small band of their descendants. But after surviving 50,000 years, the memory of those traditions is now at risk of being lost forever. The arrival of white settlers in the late 19th century pushed the native people of Tierra del Fuego to the brink of extinction. The guanaco was one of the main sources of food. But when European settlers arrived, they saw a land ideally suited for something else. Gradually, the guanaco hunting grounds were transformed into vast sheep stations. It seems that the Fuegians thought they could simply switch to hunting sheep. It was a tragic mistake. European landlords thought nothing of killing poachers in cold blood. Christian missionaries tried their best to help the natives adapt to the changing circumstances. Women and children were brought to the missions to be clothed and educated. But this only made matters worse, as the Fuegians came into contact with European diseases for the first time.
There was a virulent disease, and many died from that. A few survived, but then came a stomach illness, and many more died. Many babies and adults. I was ill too, but I pulled through.
The deaths eventually decimated the villages. Years ago, Christina and Ursula had to abandon the village where they grew up and move into a white settlement. They return occasionally to visit the graves of their family. Christina and Ursula are now the last surviving link to the culture of the pioneering Aborigines who first discovered the Americas. for they are two of only a few full-blooded Fuegians left alive. Their children are the offspring of mixed marriages. Just as it did 9,000 years ago, intermarriage, this time with Europeans, may save something of the American Aboriginal culture from complete extinction. The Fuegians' ancestors had set off from the other side of the world. Their arrival in Tierra del Fuego was the culmination of an epic journey across ocean and continent. They were the first to discover the Americas. "50,000 years later, their descendants have dwindled to a handful of survivors. But who knows? Perhaps the Fuegians were not the only Aborigines to survive the arrival of the Mongoloids.
Testing, 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 testing. You guys, we're going to be right back with Chief Holiday now. Something's going on over here ever since last night. It's been acting weird. But the most important thing that we want to talk about is that they never did the actual breakdown of where the Mongoloid people actually came from. They started from Africa to Australia and then to the Americas with Luzia. But then when it came to Native Americans, they just said the Native Americans showed up and started fighting. They never actually did where they actually came from. So this is the most important part that everybody needs to understand. With all the similarities and all the possibilities and probabilities, that sure possibilities, probabilities, that's pretty much damn near how science works. It's pretty much all you got. Damn near. We don't know. There's a lot we don't know. And the stuff we do know, we only know it because we, whatever. But anyway, they never actually mentioned where these people came from. As exactly how they said, well, these people came from Africa, and they showed a migration pattern. They went over from Africa. They showed arrows walking out of Africa, going all the way to Australia. They even showed some Australian people dancing, and they showed a boat, and they told a story about some sleeping people or some people who made a mistake and stumbled upon America. And so they was letting you know it's possible, you know what I'm saying? And they did a whole spiel on how the Australians came here. But then as they started telling the story, they said, well, Native Americans just showed up and started warring. So they never actually showed us where the actual Native Americans came from, you guys. And this is very important. And I know this is kind of sad news, but it's
Well, it's gonna get even sadder for them because we're gonna show them.
this is right. That's very sad. That yeah.
We're gonna show you that Ursula and Christina are mestizo, what they call mestizos, right? And the majority of the people that they're showing you, oh, these are. Think about this, right? They'll say that these are the last surviving people of, right, of the Aborigines, right?
Right.
And they're mixed, but then you
Right.
have all of these Aborigines in Brazil.
Right. And mind you,
Say that they're dark skinned, but because they're from Africa.
and mind you, when they show skulls, they show a bunch of different skull types, but they emphasize and they focus on the one that looks a little more Australian. You see that?
Nah, ain't no such thing as Australian, bro.
I know, no, but that's what they did. They said, look at these different skull types, and it was about 3, 4. It was a couple different skull types, but then when they came to the one that they considered look more Australian, they showed an Australian person as if they're the only one. They're the only one. But the skulls that didn't have them, they didn't show people with them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They didn't show people with them.
Mongoloids came in and wiped out
Right, but where did they never said where the Mongoloids come from?
That's child's play because they already told you the ice wall stopped them from coming.
Right, right. So where exactly did they come from?
They came on boats in like the late 12 AD.
So,
1200 AD,
well,
1300.
well, well. Your probability is just as good as theirs because they didn't even touch on that subject.
No.
You see what I'm saying? They didn't even touch on it. They just said, look, these people showed up and it was a war. Like, hold up, I thought you were supposed to be telling the stories about how the first Americans and blah blah blah. You just made them. You just put them in the middle of the movie. You just put them in the middle of a movie showing up, beating up people. Like, where the fuck did they come from? That's what the documentary was supposed to be about, right? So now we left with nothing but speculation in little books. You see, we have to do our own research because nobody's gonna put no money and nobody's gonna put no millions of dollars on our research. Everybody know, I don't care who you is, Pan African included, you know you smell some bullshit. But just because we ain't got enough money and enough resources to sort the shit out exactly what we want to do, even if it fits the narrative, but even if it don't, that don't mean it can't be true. Right in the middle, it was what, half an hour into the thing, the Mongoloids showed up and they just fucking beat up people and shit. And they got little 3-dimensional documentaries of people being burnt on stakes and being shot on or whatever the hell. And they never said, well, the fuck did these Mongoloids come from? They didn't come from the Bering Strait because they debunked the Bering Strait in the thing. So where did the Mongoloids come from? And that's sad, bro. That they did that like that. That's sad because they least could have said, well, I mean, they least could have made up a lie. You see what I'm saying? Remember earlier when I was talking about the chain of command and I was talking about what happened before. What happened before? What was the Mongoloids at? Where did they come from? And what is their origin story or where they come from? How they get down? How they got down there to so-called war with the Australians? That right there is a mystery, you guys. And you best believe over here on Tribe Up, we're going to keep you with the information and we're going to keep investigating. We don't have a lot of resources. We don't have millions of dollars. We don't have, secret societies and shit to back us. So if it comes out a little ghetto, if it comes out a little brash, maybe even a little stretchy or some shit, a possibility, a probability is still a possibility and a probability at the end of the day. So cheap holidays, possibility, probability ain't it don't. I mean, hell.
No, I don't
I,
work on possibilities.
I mean, I mean, well, if you want to get scientific about it, you know what I'm saying, that's what it would be because none of us was actually there. But um, I bet you if we put $1,000,000 and thousands of dollars behind us, how much you want to bet the outcome will be different. So the goal is to just keep you broke. Keep you broke. Nobody believe him. You guys are just like Hebrew Israelites. You guys are terrorists, a terrorist group. Just keep them broke. That's all. That's the goal. Keep these guys broke, and nobody will ever take them serious. That's the goal. But it ain't gonna happen. We gonna go ahead and come back. I need to fix something. It's looking weird over here. All my shit is just looking weird. I don't know what happened yesterday or last night, but ever since then, my whole damn computer just been like acting funny as hell. I got 2 more computers, but I don't feel like transferring all this data and shit. Um, Peace to the chat. Sorry, I can't really see the chat. But if anybody want to come on, we can have an open discussion of where you think these people actually came from. Because this documentary did not tell us where it comes from. It basically said they fucking showed up with they showed up beating us up and shit. How that work? Gee, they just showed up.
Nah, man, it's called, bro. I don't understand this conversation, right? When the Caucasians came here, they
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead before you break that down. I'm gonna stop this because I need to fix your mic, bro. I need to fix your mic so you can go in and I can go finish with my family. And a couple people want to get on the panel too. We gonna hang up. We gonna be back, you guys. Chief Holiday finna go in for the rest of the night. We'll be right back. But yeah, see, understand it, and it gets worse, you guys. So stay with us, man. We out here. We trying. Actually, we're doing. I should say. Shout out to Coda Key Bay. He got on me for saying trying. But yeah, we're doing. Okay, you guys. Chief, you want to take us out? Actually, they can't even hear you, bro. It sounds bad. I feel sorry for people that are watching us on TV right now, bro. It got to be hard. So we're going to go ahead and get out. This is brought to you by TribeUp.app, the app that pays. Make sure you take advantage of the stuff we got to offer in the description box. Everything is supported, whether just a little thumbs up, signing up for, TribeUp.app. You know what I'm saying? Telling a friend, telling the buddy, watching it with your girlfriend. Well, you might not want to watch it with your family too much, but we appreciate it. You want to let him go with that? You want to let him out with that OG? Let's go. Here we go.
I gotta have it, so I'ma go get it. You're talking about going getting a bunch of money. You know that I'm with it. 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 I had a couple big felonies, but I gotta quit it. And I gotta admit it. They know that I did it. You know that I did it. She know that I did it. Hey, now she wanna lick it, stick it, hit it. I hit it and quit it. Hey, I know you can dig it. Hey, cause that's how I did it. Hey, it's all about money, power, and respect it. Yeah, I got a little. I'm not the big or the little man. I'm the one in the middle. Yeah, the one in the middle. I'm that one in the middle. That nigga that never ever told. The one in the middle. That nigga that never ever sold his soul. Never fuck my niggas hoe. Never ran off on a plug. They'll say I never stole. Cashed out every load. Real niggas really hold. I got robbed by my plug and I got set up by my man. Nigga came in shooting. I ain't even understand. I ain't never took a stand. I ain't never said a word about a duck or a bird. About a truck on a curb. I done struck every nerve. Nigga, fuck what you heard. I done sold everything. Mary Jane, cocaine, pretty dames to a lane. 20 things on the train. Way too much to explain. I got the game in my pocket. I turn my name to a profit. Bought me a chain and a locket. Beat this good game from a profit. It ain't no way you can stop it. I'm like that flame on a rocket. Put that on Jesus Christ, Buddha, Dalai Lama, and Elijah Muhammad. I am a son. I gotta have it. So I'ma go get it. You're talking about going getting a bunch of money. You know that I'm with it. Yeah, you know that I'm with it. You know that I'm with it. I had a couple big felonies, but I gotta quit it. And I gotta admit it. They know that I did it. You know that I did it. She know that I did it. Hey, now she wanna lick it, quick and sticky. I hit it and quit it. I know you can dig it. Cause that's how I did it. I got a partner by the name of Gato. That nigga is solid. That nigga hopped straight up out the damn feds and went back to college. Now he got the knowledge. Now we got the knowledge. Talking big money. The women and weed is exotic. Yeah. We so more dope than the CVS. And my baby mama CTS. Got my decoy and the DTS. Getting followed by the DPS. We do not broadcast to the public, cause we do not work for no PBS. Know some bitches who be snatching kids. They do not work for the CPS. My GPS is a BCS. But on a cool you gon' see me less. If you see me, I be with my kids and you gon' see me blessed and never see me stressed. I am the OG of rapping, been rapping since niggas had beamers on BBS. I don't even have to rock jury, still I'ma shine like a VVS. I put the L in cheddar, I put the L in dollar, I put the L in better, I put the L in scholar. Look, I got it grew back to Stella. Look, watch when I leave, they gon' follow. Yeah, I got the hood by the collar. Look, bet when I ski, she gon' swallow. I am Kamala. I gotta have it, so I'ma go get it. You're talking about going getting a bunch of money. You know that I'm with it. Yeah, you know that I'm with it. You know that I'm with it. I had a couple big felony, but I gotta quit it. And I gotta admit it. They know that I did it. You know that I did it. She know that I did it. Hey, now she wanna lick it, quick and sticky. I hit it and quit it. I know you can dig it, cause that's how I did it.